You want to impress more and more people, and it's never enough. That's a good moment to not run away, but sit with that shadows. That's wanting more. And is there a better way to want this? That's where conscious desire can come. And conscious desire doesn't care about validation or approval, cares about being alive. So then I want to know, do I feel alive?
I think about so many people who are very lost on their path because they're following the current of this need to fill the hole, that need to fill that hunger that no matter what you eat, it doesn't satisfy. I know and see how lost that makes people on their path from that deep inherent connection to their intuition, the aliveness or the electricity of their own spirit. But I also wonder where that fine line is, because isn't life meant to feel like YOLO sometimes? Like, what is the line?
All of those things will assist you. If you're not ready to sit with your shadows, if you're not ready to sit with the enoughness and the lack of enoughness that keeps fighting, then the sacred will, the conscious desire, there'll be spiritual fantasies.
My guest today is Chandresh Bhardwaj, a modern-day Tantra teacher, author of Break the Norms, and host of The Leela Show. His work blends ancient Eastern mysticism, creativity, emotional liberation, and the rawness of erotic truth. He teaches that desire isn't a distraction, it's the divine in disguise. That Eros is the current through which consciousness knows itself. But here's the tension I want to explore. Does desire bring us closer to God, or deeper into distortion? Because in my world, desire without discernment isn't holy. It's the easiest doorway for interference. And in Chandresh's world, suppressing desire is how we disconnect from our vitality and spiritual truth. So today, we walk the razor's edge between Eros and illusion, God and craving, devotion and distortion. Is desire the language of the universe, or the oldest spiritual trap ever created? Let's find out. Welcome, CB, to the Spiritual Debate Podcast.
Thank you, Victoria. Really, really glad to be here.
I feel like the intro was poetry. And
Yeah.
as I was reading it, I just thought, God, who picked these words? I did. I feel like I picked them with you in mind, like it was a tongue twister.
It sounded excellent. Even I enjoyed reading my own introduction, like hearing my introduction. Yeah, it sounded great.
Good. Well, I'm so happy you were here today. I was speaking with you just a little bit before the podcast about how my husband found you and how my husband has this uncanny ability to bring in not just any extraordinary person, but usually soul family,
Yeah,
people that for some reason greater than us,
yeah.
we're connected. And I love the work that you do. I love the essence that you hold. I love the creativity that you've kept alive in your being. And I really want to do my absolute best today to do justice to your work, but also to unpack and extract as much of that wisdom I possibly can here today.
Thank you, Victoria. Yeah, really honored to be here.
So tell me about desire.
You know, desire, this word, I feel I'll be bringing a lot of Sanskrit words, and I'll of course expand their meaning in English, because I genuinely feel there are so many words, Victoria. In English, they sound so limited, but when you go deeper into their Sanskrit origin, that language, suddenly the debate starts to feel much more wholesome, because you realize, oh, this is what's happening. Like a quick example, throat chakra. That's what everyone says, throat chakra. In Sanskrit, it's called Vishuddhi chakra, which means the energy center that filters your expression, that transcends your expression. And suddenly you're like, okay, so it's not throat chakra, it's Vishuddhi, the one that filters. The meaning expands. And desire is the same way. In Tantra, I would define desire with this word. It's Iksha Shakti, which means the conscious desire, the reason you exist. It's not accidental. You happened to be here, not just in this room or in this city or country, in this world, for a very specific divine reason. And that reason can only will make sense with you. I cannot take that place. No one else can take that place. And it's same for me, same for everyone in this room. We are here with some sacred will of the divine, will of universe, a will of maybe the inner muse or the consciousness that's shaping everything. So desire, of course, on the surface level, it feels very impulsive. On a deeper level, desire becomes a force, a potent force that's making sense of why you exist.
Fascinating, because that's not even what I would have attached my consciousness to about what I thought desire meant.
Yeah.
Maybe when I'm thinking about it in our Western world, I think about satisfying something, filling something, craving, hungering, longing for something, oftentimes because I don't have it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes because I feel like I need it.
Yeah.
Because what I'm feeling is too much, so I want something to alleviate it. In your experience, have you found that you had to process that to get to the depth of desire that you feel now?
Yeah. I see desire in two layers. One is conscious desire and other is impulsive desire. The one you're talking, right? The one that comes from hunger or wanting. I define it as the impulsive desire, the mind's desire. It's endless. It's endless because I may like a certain shirt or a car, and if I get it, then suddenly the mind jumps on to the next one. It's endless. The mind is a beast that's never fulfilled. It's always comparing, calculating, analyzing. It's always feeding on the information, the memory, the identity you have. And that identity, that memory, that information is somehow always chasing, always wanting more. And it's never satisfied. And we live in a world collectively where the impulsive desire is calling the shots, on a political level, spiritual level, in creative industries, everywhere. It's the impulsive desire. That's the hunger of mind. It's never going to be satisfied. Yeah.
Wow, and that's really what we see everywhere. We think about something as simple as how you and I connected.
Yeah.
We connected through an app.
Yeah.
An app where you can go scroll, instant, and different energy, different frequency, different driver, different motivator, different message.
Yeah.
And yet somehow I feel like I found the conscious desire through
Yeah.
finding you in that way, even though I was on a platform where there was so much of that impulsive desire. Are you seeing more impulsive desire than ever before?
I am seeing more impulsive desire than ever before. And, I also feel these apps, they are very neutral. That's how I see them. It's what you do with them. It's like Wi-Fi, internet, anything, right? They are neutral. What you do with them. So if I end up doom scrolling for next 3 hours, I know they have designed the app for me to doom scroll, but I also have some will there, some action I'm also taking, right? If I build my awareness, I'll not be doing that. I'll know when to step out. So I do see a lot of impulsive desire happening, but also since you mentioned that's how we, found each other, through the app. Funny thing is, once, we booked this podcast, right? So I was visiting for a week. This is where my impulsive versus conscious desire played a role. And the perfect example is I put on the app that I'm coming to Vancouver. Whom should I meet? And of course, you showed up. Once we booked this, that's all. I did not book any other podcast for the week except Kasia. She's a friend, and that was booked before. But I had to tell myself, oh, this is enough. This is where conscious desire steps in, because the mind will say, you are there for 7 days. Book a new podcast every day. The more, the better. But you have to trust your awareness that says, oh, it's enough. You got 2 podcasts, you're doing 2 talks, you're meeting some old friends. That's enough. Conscious desire knows when to say this. It's enough. The impulsive desire will always be like, oh, this is not enough. I want the next shinier object. I want the next viral worthy thing,
Yes. Better.
Yeah.
Better than was. Better than it could be more,
Yeah.
more.
More shinier, better. But that definition of what's better is again different, right, for the mind. The identity, the information, the memory you have of what's better that plays the role in this. Yeah.
Allow me to be a fly on the wall when you realized that you were leaning into impulsive desire. And then help me understand how you got back to conscious desire. Give me the practice that you walked through so we can understand.
For me, Victoria, I think what helps a lot is learning the language of my body and my breath. Impulsive desire, it creates more emptiness, more validation. I want approval. I want validation. And not that I don't go there. I remember in certain, now it doesn't happen so much because it happened, I think, so many times that I finally got the restless monkey by its hand that sit there. No more jumping around, because there were days on social media when I knew, my Instagram is pretty stagnant for a while. Let me put this post because it's going to bring a lot of engagement, and that's usually my poetry. When I put that poetry has no agenda. I put it out of love. So, and I love to see the love it gets. If my poetry also doesn't get the love, I remember how I used to feel, oh, what's wrong with it? Let me write even better. Now, that's impulsive desire. It's never going to be satisfied. And when you sit with your body and breath, you start to notice, oh, it's not feeling fulfilled. It's actually more empty. It's wanting more validation. It's wanting more approval, more likes, more people to praise, and you want to impress more and more people, and it's never enough. So once it starts to happen, that's a good moment to not run away, but sit with that shadow. Sit with who's the one that's wanting more, and is there a better way to want this? That's where conscious desire can come. And conscious desire doesn't care about validation or approval. It's conscious. It cares about being alive. So then I want to know, do I feel alive? And a lot of people talk about my current Instagram writing, and I keep reminding everyone, go back on my Instagram a year ago, and you will see I have not deleted any of those because I want people to see. There were months, Victoria, on my Instagram, and you'll see I'm experimenting with a lot of stuff. I kept that stuff there. I could have deleted for the aesthetic purpose, but I don't want to delete it. That stagnancy taught me a lot, because I was making sure I will not let impulsiveness win, because I was feeling so, uh, I felt like a restless seeker.
Yes.
I wanted to know, where do I belong here? I could feel transition is happening. And for the first time, I was very sure I want to tell stories in my way. We spoke of Hollywood just a while ago, right? So that was a moment that I was like, I know, even if I mean, now I have access to, I have friends and clients who work in Hollywood, so I can pitch my script finally.
Love it.
And yet I choose not to, because I realize the yearning for writing a script is way more joyful and beautiful to the little child in me than actually getting into the messiness of making a movie. So I may never make a movie because this yearning is fulfilling so much of my creativity, but never say never. I mean, who knows? I'm not saying. So, yeah.
Hey there, it's me, V. So, as you can imagine, this is my first podcast, and so I'm learning all of these new ropes. Did you know how important ratings were? I didn't. I had absolutely no idea, and I'm so thankful for the support of my team for reminding me of how important having your ratings, your honest reflection of the podcast, how much that benefits us. So, I'm that annoying person in the middle of everyone else's episodes that I fast forward that hopefully you're listening to right now. And if you've got 30 seconds, it would mean the absolute world to us if you could take a moment and just rate this podcast, give it a thumbs up, share it with your bestie that you want to go head to head with, so we can continue to spread this message, debate about the truth, find what the truth is, and have the kinds of conversations that truly help us awaken in integrity. All right, back to the episode. What I'm hearing here, let's use the example of the movie script.
Yeah.
That is the conscious desire. But maybe when you think about bringing it to your friends in Hollywood to be able to pitch it, would you say that that's when you kind of move into a little bit more of that impulsive desire? Like I would want the validation that I belong or that I made it. And so you come back to the conscious desire and let that fuel the engine before it goes into impulsivity?
It's a great point. I think that's perhaps what I'm sort of concerned about, because it did happen like 10 years when I moved to LA from New York in 2011. That was within first year, two of the most powerful, popular directors wanted to work with me on one on Tantra movie idea. And after my book came out, Break the Norms, 10 years ago, someone, and when I say someone, this is Oscar winner director, their team, and we had a mutual friend. They wanted to make a movie based on the idea of Break the Norms. That was my book. And I remember, I was in my 20s. I remember impulsive desire, having fun, because I would see, the posters of those movies and the actors behind them. I'm like, wow, so I could be I'll be hanging out with this director, this producer. And I was having meetings with creative teams, and there was nothing, being in your 20s and sitting with these people, and they're asking me, what actor do you want? Because they were so powerful. They knew any actor you name will bring on the board. And those projects didn't happen. I was heartbroken, but now I know it didn't happen for good, because not just with me, with those people also, impulsive desire was at its peak. And the challenges that happened in these two projects, they were also related to impulsiveness. The greed, the ego, the anger, all the classics. And now there's no regret, because it taught me a lot about sitting with conscious, with impulsive, because now it doesn't matter so much. I'm almost afraid, what if next big opportunity comes and I'm smitten by the impulsiveness? Because I think I have developed such a deeper relationship with my writing and musings, not attachment, but a relationship with them. So I want to be very protective of where it goes from here onward. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm glad you brought that point, because I'd never thought of it that way. But yeah.
Well, here's my question, because I think about, 99% of the population, and I think maybe they would say, what's wrong with desire?
Yeah.
Especially impulsive desire, Everything's so hard in the world. Sometimes you just gotta get that car,
Right.
CB. You gotta go get that quick fix.
Yeah.
And I can see where this leads to spiritual hijack. And I think about so many people who are very lost on their path because they're following the current of this need to fill the hole, that need to fill that hunger, that no matter what you eat, it doesn't satisfy. I know and see how lost that makes people on their path from that deep inherent connection to their intuition, the aliveness or the electricity of their own spirit.
Yeah.
But I also wonder where that fine line is, because isn't life meant to feel like YOLO sometimes? Like, what is the line?
YOLO is what motivates me too. Like the reason I wouldn't go into impulsive is because of you only live once. And my idea is I only live once. So I have to make choices that will make this one of a kind of experience really juicy and wholesome. I mean, of course, if I want chocolate cake or sweetest pancake in the morning, I'll go with it. It isn't going to create too much harm. It's food. The body is going to process within a few hours or a day or two, right? But this also opens the gateway to make bigger choices that could be very impulsive and tempting, but then you have to pay the price for it. So YOLO definitely inspires me to not make choices that may make me feel depleted or exhausted.
Or like maybe in some way we're not living in full integrity with our own spirit.
Of course.
I have had a few really significant opportunities recently that I would say by godly divine direction, the doors ended up closing for whatever reason. And one of them was actually because they said I was too young. They said, come back in 5 years and maybe we'll give her a network opportunity. And it hurt at first. That really hurt me because I thought, gosh, I wish that there wasn't an age limit to wisdom.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 31 years old. I have to come back when I've got like a few gray hairs and then you'll treat me seriously. Like,
Right.
gosh, that kind of sucks. I've never treated people like that. But then deeper than that, I could feel the part of me that was thinking, oh, this is going to change something for me. This is going to open up a door. If this opens up the door, then I'm going to make it.
Yeah.
And finally, my message is going to get out there. I can see how not all opportunities are driven by the right energy of desire to fill feeling like you don't belong,
Yeah.
to fill feeling like, I don't know, like life is hard and it's not, it takes so dang long to get what you
Yeah.
want.
You know, this is such an interesting point. A lot of people tell me now I have some, gray hair. People tell me, oh my God, the day you have all gray hair, your business will be booming. I'm like, so
Wait, people have said that to
people
you?
have said that to me. And I always thought that was a bizarre thing to say or notice, but looks like it's the norm that, I started my work also at a very young age. So people used to tell me, oh, you're too young and everything. But after I started seeing gray hair, a lot of people would tell me, this is great and they think I have grown my hair for branding. I'm like, oh, I just enjoy long hair. There's no brand. I wouldn't go this length, for the branding. But it seems like the whole capitalistic mindset is everywhere. And I know you. I feel we are not those people who would want to be part of that race.
So what is the answer then? Because if we think that it's everywhere,
Yeah.
and it's everywhere. And I don't think any louder than ever before, especially with the rise of technology
Yeah.
and the convenience, but also I think the deep disconnection that human to human is still trying to recover from 2020
Yeah.
and what we experienced, not even just as a collective, but I think the deep loneliness that we felt and the longing for connection, but then how the mass narrative was that humans were unsafe.
Yeah, I think it's going to create value of authentic creations now. I think authentic humans, authenticity in spirituality, creativity, it's going to find more and more right tribe. It's going to attract the right tribe. Just like, after elevators were built, that doesn't mean stairs were completely useless. Stairs had their own use, right? Same thing with Kindle versus books. People value books so much more than ebooks. So now what the trend I think that's going to emerge with AI and everything, humans who are going to speak from their experience, from their embodiment, they're going to be on such a different scale. It's going to push people to actually embody stuff more, because otherwise what's the difference between you and a robot, So I think and I genuinely feel that's what's going to emerge.
What has been the cost for you to stay in your embodied authenticity? Because I do see it more than ever. And I have plenty of clients who are saying, gosh, I want to create like this. Like, I can't do that. Like getting a robot to prompt for me or getting everybody to take over my content creativity. Like, I need to keep that part of me sacred. And you do such a beautiful job at that. You
Thank
do.
you.
You do.
It's, I don't know if passion is the right word or obsession is. I call it love affair with the divine. It's that's really how it is. Or else I couldn't sustain it for so long. I don't do it for algorithm, social media, clients, none of that. I do it because I can't survive otherwise. It's the reason I exist. It's what made me. So I can't. How can you let go of your life force? That's really, and I hope people don't hear it as a poetic thing. I genuinely mean it. That's my life force, to sit with words, to channel the emotion. I also feel there are people in the world who do not feel seen. And there were many, many moments in my life when I felt, oh, I wish they could see me. I wish, there was a time when especially in the spiritual space, I used to say this very often, that I feel I'm sitting on top of a mountain with a mic in my hand and I'm shouting and still no one is seeing me, no one is hearing me. I felt very invisible. And now with these writings or the way I create my art, I want people to feel seen in it. I even had this bio for the longest time on my Instagram that I am not your guru, I am the mirror. Don't put me on a pedestal of a guru. See me as a mirror, so that we don't get offended by each other, but rather we see what's in the mirror. Let me understand that. So it's been a life force for me, Victoria. I don't think I actually say this very often. If I stop writing poetry, please check in with on me because I don't know what's happening then.
Wow. You know, it's really beautiful to feel another creative. And I knew that there was a similar essence in both of us, because when I think about myself as an artist, I feel like I would die if I didn't create.
Yeah.
Like, I really wouldn't understand meaning or purpose. There has to be some part of me that is taking all of this that I feel like is constantly, people say, I don't know what to write. I'm like, I don't know what not to write.
Yeah.
Like, I am constantly feeling this wellspring of knowledge and wisdom and pieces that I'm seeing and feeling from the world around me.
Yeah.
And then trying to, the hardest part for me is like, what avenue do I take all of this information and be able to give it to the world?
Can I say something while you were talking?
Yeah.
So in Tantra, we define desire as the Shakti in motion. Shakti is the goddess, the wild feminine. So just now, as you were talking about your creation and your relationship with it, it hit me that yes, this is what desire is. When the feminine is in motion, when she's moving. So this is you, this is every artist. When our inner feminine is moving, it's playful, it's fluid. If it's not fluid, it's stagnant. And stagnant energy is not alive, not moving. So anytime that inner feminine starts to dance, starts to move, that's your desire. That's a desire wanting a conscious outlet. And can I say something more on top of this? In tantric traditions, Victoria, we see desire as the sweet mix of three things, which is, I think, really important to mention when we speak about desire. Number one is Iksha Shakti, which means the willpower, the conscious will. Number two is Gyan Shakti, which means the power of your awareness, your wisdom, inherent wisdom. And number three is Kriya Shakti, which means your karma, your action. It's a combination of wisdom, action, and your sacred will. When they all unite, you create something magical that cannot be replicated by any AI or anyone trying to copy you. Yeah.
How would somebody who's listening to this that is like, yes, whatever he just said, can I order one of those? And obviously there's no very simple plug that into the microwave. Right. But what is the process for somebody who maybe realizes that they have been hijacked by the current of filling?
Yeah. Rumi, the poet, said this really beautifully, that our goal in life is not to find love, but to sit with the barriers in between that. So the journey, the challenge is not to find how do I access all the Sanskrit words that CP just said. The curious thing is to understand what barriers have I created or what self-imposed restrictions have I put that I can gently remove. And I'm saying self-imposed and the barriers I have created so that I don't go here and there to blame everyone.
Right.
Others have done what they knew, like parents, society, religion, they will always act a certain way. If we start to fix all of those elements, the ego might like it because now you're the hero. You're trying to fix the system. You're trying to fix the parents. Ego would love it. But does that create any transformation in you? Not really, because now you're exhausted trying to change who do not want to be changed. So I believe in coming back to home, sit with what barriers have I created? Or what is it I'm pretending to not want, but I want it? What am I trying to claim that comes from fear and not from enoughness? These are some of the questions I would sit with. Of course, meditation is important. Of course, writing is important. Of course, therapy, coaching, all of those things, moving, physical movement is important. All of those things will assist you. But if you're not ready to sit with your shadows, if you're not ready to sit with the enoughness and the lack of enoughness that keeps fighting, then the sacred will, the conscious desire, there'll be spiritual fantasies. I would say start from the barriers. What is it you are saying I don't want, but deep down that's what you want? But I actually, tell this to a lot of my clients that when you begin to meditate, tap on your navel center gently and feel what is living here. Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it scarcity? What is it? And if you can name it, then name it. And then second question is, what is it that's mine here, and what is it that's not mine? And you might start to notice, oh, this fear I have, fear of becoming big, it's not mine. It actually belongs to my mother or my father. Or it happened when I was, 7 year old and I saw my uncle becoming so big, like, in financially or socially, that he couldn't handle and he collapsed. So my mind is now afraid if I become too big or if I have the perfect love, I'll not be able to hold it. I actually have some of my clients, Victoria, write this every morning on their, journal that I am the human who can hold wealth. I am the human who can hold love. Just hold. I can hold it. It's not going to slip away. It's not going to hit me, attack me. I can hold it. Just holding it.
Instead of it being something that we lose. I
Yeah.
think sometimes we're so afraid of losing something that we play our lives to try not to lose.
Yeah.
And what a completely different energy that is. I was imagining myself tapping as you were speaking, and the word that came to me was distrust. And then as I felt a bit deeper into that, I would say that what was coming forward for me were times in my life where I trusted, and then it felt like life gave me the bad end of the stick.
Yeah.
And so then it made it harder for me to trust that life wouldn't slip through my fingers again. And actually in my journey, some of the bigger pieces of my own work when it comes to having these conscious desires in my life is not just knowing that I will have them or hold them, but that they'll stay
Yeah.
in whatever form, that they'll circulate, but that they'll stay.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that's something that you've noticed with people when it comes to trying to activate these conscious desires in them, where it's not like filling this empty, deep, endless void, but rather being full of the thing that they want that is so deep in their heart that God gave them, that maybe their fear isn't even about holding it, but it's about being able to keep it.
That fear will exist because, you are a remix of your parents, your extension of your lineage.
Remix of your parents.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
they have gone through a lot of their trauma. Your ancestors have gone through their fear of not able to keep it. So it sits in you, even if you align with your parents or ancestors, or if you don't, the truth is we are a remix of them. At some point our voice, our nose, our, face is going to start to look like them. Our voice is going to start to sound like them. So that fear comes from, there also, right? And it's natural. We don't need to fight it, but we can build a new relationship. This is the privilege of being in this consciousness, that there is always a conscious choice. That's what law of karma teaches. You are a conscious choice maker, but that conscious choice making power will erupt in you once you acknowledge that there are choices I have made that were not mine. They were borrowed. I mean, spirituality is borrowed knowledge.
True.
Unless you start to integrate and embody in your own way, right? So same way, the fear of that maybe I'll not be able to keep the wealth or success or human or whatever precious thing I have in my life, it comes from a lot of experiences that most of them or some of them you have not even gone through. You have just inherited those. But here is an opportunity for you to build a relationship with trust. If you want to heal, if you want to evolve, you got to start trusting your body, your breath, your longings. And I want to ask people, what if that longing you feel within is not hurting you, but it's your compass, it's your map? Start sitting with the longing as a map, as a compass, and see where it takes you. And sooner or later, it's going to, not that it didn't guide you before, you were not able to understand the language before because you're so much in the mind. And the mind has to take a back seat. That's what entire Tantra is all about. Tantra is science of transcending the mind. You let the mind take a back seat and trust the longings within, trust the musings within. And of course, there will be moments when it may not go as per your expectations. It doesn't mean it's going wrong. It's just not going through your, not going as per your plan or your script. But your script is also coming from the mind. It's okay to let the divine collapse that script because there's a bigger scheme of things happening. That's Leela, the play of consciousness. We are constantly in a play. This is a play. I didn't know even 3 months ago that I would be in Vancouver. And a month ago, we didn't know each other.
We did.
This is Leela. It's play.
Leela means play.
Yeah. Yeah.
That we're basically in a cosmic theater.
We are in a cosmic theater.
If we were a theater show right now, I think we would be like Hamlet or
Yeah.
like something really tragic. Like life feels like quite a tragic, multi-layered act right now on Earth.
Yeah, totally. Exactly.
Like Othello. Could I be? I don't want to be Iago, the one who like kills Othello, but could I be like, I played Amelia once. She was super cool. Like, I want to play someone cool in this
Right.
Leela show.
Yeah. You get to choose your characters. You get to be the director. You are the storyteller in Leela. That's the, recrimination. That's the, you own that element that I'm the storyteller. I'm not an actor who's reading a script given by someone. I'm the storyteller in this Leela. So I can change characters around me. I can change the environment around me. That's the hero's journey. You start to understand what the scene is not fitting well. What do I do? So the plot twist can happen. I mean, the shows we enjoy on TV or Netflix and everywhere, those are the ones where interesting plot twists are happening.
True.
And you're like, oh, wow, I never thought of it this way. It just blew my mind. But when it comes to your life's own Leela, you want things to be so predictable. You have to enjoy the Leela of your own life, the play of your own life too. Otherwise, it's going to be so flat. And we want things to be predictable and more so than ever. Like there are reviews of everything online, everything.
You can't just get a book anymore. You look at the reviews first.
Exactly. And now the reviews have AI generated reviews, which means when you go to Amazon, it's going to sum up the reviews of 10,000 people and say that 10,000 people found this book to be helpful, to be complicated to understand, or to be super engaging or not engaging. And that's all. Your mind reads it, sees the review, the summarized review of those 500 people. And you're like, oh, do I want to invest next 1 month on a book that was not understood by these 500? And chances are you may not even buy the book. Wow. So I miss the days when we would enter the unknown so much more freely. Now we don't. Like, I don't watch the trailers of many movies because I want to just watch the movie. You watch the trailer, then you suddenly start to see the comments on YouTube, and that's it. Your entire experience is butchered.
You're going to laugh because in my consciousness right now, I can hear my husband laughing because... So I will get a book, a good one, but I need to know if they're still together by the end. So I'll go to the end of the book. Please, anybody validate me. And I will read that at the end of the book, they're still together and they ride off into the sunset. And then I'll read the book because I don't want to know that it's traumatizing at the end. And that is probably because my parents got divorced 6 times before I was 7 years old.
Wow.
So I had 6 parental figures between the age of 0 and 7 because they both got remarried 3 times. So marrying my husband was such a huge decision for me in my life. Commitment, feeling like someone is going to stay, feeling like energy is going to stay. Clearly that is lineage. Clearly that is ancestral, but clearly that's also been my childhood experience. And so when I read beautiful love stories, I need to make sure that the ending is worth the 600 pages I'm about to endure. And I just appreciate you bringing that in because it's another reflection of my earlier point.
But that's beautiful. That's just the little Victoria wanting some safety.
Yeah, like
That's
it's
all.
going to be a good ending, right?
Exactly. But you became the storyteller of your own Leela by marrying your husband.
I
You
okay,
changed that.
you got to hear this story because
Yeah.
I think you'll appreciate this.
Yeah.
So a few weeks before our wedding, which was just September 28th of 2025,
Wow.
we were not going to get legally married
Okay.
for a lot of reasons, but I thought it was a divine calling, really at the heart of it. I thought we're revolutionizing what true marriage is. Screw the system. We don't have to do it. We can do it in our own way, which to anybody's path, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I got a message, a download, a divine download one day that came through something along the lines of, don't you think this revolutionary act that you think you're making in service to God would be more of service to God if you did the one thing that you were the most afraid of?
Wow. Wow.
And at first I was like, go over there, sit in the corner.
Exactly.
And then it came back again. And this voice came through a little bit stronger and said, wouldn't it be the greatest act and service to God if you actually consciously chose to marry your husband?
Wow.
And so I'm on a walk with Hayden, and I said, how do you feel about getting legally married?
Wow.
And we ended up getting legally married.
That's amazing.
And it was beautiful because we were having a date night that night that we got the papers for the wedding. And he said, you know, it's fascinating because if you wouldn't have chosen to get legally married, it would have validated my greatest story, which is that no one ever chooses me. So you would have always been 1 foot in and 1 foot out,
Right.
which would have validated me. And I would have been able to validate that I could always leave because if he left, then it would validate the part that no one ever committed to me anyway.
Yeah. This is so brave and so beautiful. So brave, honestly. That's the word that instantly comes. Because you could have made any choice. You made a choice that was not comfortable, but so relevant to your growth, expansion, and evolution. And that's how you become the storyteller of your journey. You actually embodied the law of karma, that I am a conscious choice maker. I had 5 choices, but I made the choice that would change the karmic contract of my lineage, of my family.
Can you help me understand the law of karma a little bit better?
Yeah.
Is there such thing as reincarnation with the karma from the lives before, or do you incarnate with a clear karma and then you create your karma?
Waking up can feel like your whole world is turned upside down, and there's no one there to catch you. Whoa! And so you ask yourself, who am I? What's my purpose? What are my gifts? And years later, you're still asking yourself the same questions. Cue the Sovereign Healer, the only psychic development and energy healing sovereign development school that'll help you understand your unique abilities without leaving your meditation cushion. Let's get it.
If I quote the greatest books of Eastern traditions, then I would say, yes, you do bring the karma of past life. But I will choose not to go there because I don't remember anything from past life, correct? So I don't want to say something that's purely based on books because I want to express what I'm experiencing in this life. And my experience in this life, Victoria, is the way I see things happening. You get to pay for your actions in this life. You get rewards also for your actions in this life. And yet there is something unknown, something that's unexplainable. And that's what the mystics say, oh, it's coming from past life. And I trust the mystics. I love them. I mean, I have so much honor for them. So I will trust them on this because there is definitely maybe a 10% layer which is totally unexplainable. Like when I was born, my grandfather mentioned that I was in my past life, and he mentioned the cities, country, everything. He said he was a meditator, a yogi, but he did not have a guru, no teacher. He was just restlessly searching for the teacher. And this is why in this life, he was born in a family which was full of teachers. So he mentioned that, and and he has written that. So I've read that growing up, but it didn't make any sense to me until I grew up and started doing this work. And I realized when I start talking about teachers, gurus, my throat gets very choked. I, I would I wouldn't be able to talk about gurus or teachers. I would get very emotional. And then there were people in the room. They would say, "Oh, he's missing his grandfather. He's missing." But the truth is, no, I'm not missing my grandfather. I'm just feeling so emotionally consumed by the energy of those collective gurus, including my grandfather.
Yeah.
I would teach in, uh, big public. So that was, I think, a turning point. I was teaching in LA, and we had someone who would see things, just entities. And she pointed out. She said, every time you speak about gurus, I see a figure behind you. And she started to paint the picture, and she painted picture of my grandfather. Yeah, so that just sort of made me sit up. So this is why I say there is that 10% of lane which is so crazy, mystical, and unexplainable that I feel, oh, there is past life really. But the reason I also mentioned that I'm believing because I don't know what happened there. I don't know what happened there, but yes, my body is telling me something did happen. My breath tells me something did happen, and I want to choose my body and breath to tell me or to guide me to how to make sense of it, because we also get stuck in over analyzing what happened.
Yeah.
The past is not important. What's important is what does it mean for us now? If a certain longing did exist in past life, what does it mean now? And I do feel we are here to finish an unfinished business that
too.
we didn't finish,
I feel that too.
right?
I feel that there is maybe a different immediacy in this life. And to your point, like I wouldn't know if I felt this immediacy in other lives. But there's
Yeah.
something about this life particularly that feels there's a little flame under my butt in this life
Yeah.
to get right with God
Yeah.
really deeply in my unique way, cultivate a very strong bond with my own spirit, and serve.
Yeah.
Really, truly, truly serve whatever, however it wants to come forward. And I don't know what other lives have held. I mean, I have understandings of certain experiences as a healer, certain experiences having sovereign technologies, helping healers develop their psychic abilities. But in many ways, I find that I don't think digging is supportive. I don't think we should look for something that hasn't found itself into truth in our lives.
Yeah.
I think that can be quite dangerous in our community. To your point about overanalyzing, I feel like it can entrap us in things that I think past lives should help us access in other levels of consciousness in this life. Like there's a gift, and maybe the pain that we're feeling is from that life, but through alchemy of it, we will be able to access the pearl of it in this
Yeah.
life.
Exactly.
Right? I feel that very strongly, but I also feel that all that information really helps me do is understand what I'm already doing.
Exactly. Exactly. I see that in your work, the way you are embodying everything. It's not random,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not accidental. There are things you finished in the past 5 years and you started in the past 5 years. So that's part of Leela again. We do certain things, we don't know why we started. It was some fire, some longing that kept on, taking us forward. The less you make sense of it, or the less you analyze it, the more it will make sense,
True.
right? Because we also, I think we limit our power. We judge ourselves, we control our expression, we think desires are wrong.
Yeah.
So we stay within the in a very limited radius, but we could be far beyond what we are creating. But the self-imposed restrictions, those are just such a barrier.
So if I followed all of these impulsive desires, pretty much in everything I do,
Yeah.
let's say, I don't know, let's play for context. I don't know, I'm unfaithful to my partner, and then I go and cause harm to somebody else in their life, in their marriage, and I'm following all of these insatiable desires. On a karmic level, what does that mean for me then? If I'm following all of these impulsive desires, karmically, does that mean that there's a cost for me in this life because of those impure actions or misaligned actions? How would you define that?
The way I see it, if we indulge in these kind of actions, right? Of course, this will not bring you happiness. This will not give you peace. This will cost you mental health, physical health. God knows where it's going to, like multiply. It's going to be a loop where you will constantly keep coming back. So impulsive desires create loop. Conscious desire liberates you.
It's a great way to put it.
Yeah. So if you indulge in any of the actions you mentioned, of course you will pay the cost within this life in terms of what maybe you'll stop sleeping properly because now you are restless, and then out of that restlessness maybe you'll start to do a bad job at your daily business. Then you'll make less money, you'll start to lose work. So you see, one thing is now activating something else, and you are in a loop again and again. And then, of course, there comes a point also, the karma will give you a chance to fix it. So there does come a moment when you feel, oh, I think I can fix it. But that moment will only speak to you if you are ready or available to it. And this is where I think this is why Eastern traditions bring a lot of emphasis on guru, a teacher, a mentor, someone who can keep kicking your ego, and make you realize that wake up.
Yeah. So would you say that God is karma then? Who's God in your life?
I define God as creation. I feel this creation around us, that's creator. It's if I cannot feel a glimpse of God in the three people sitting in this room, then to say that I feel God in Goddess Kali's statue, that sounds so shallow to me. So if I cannot feel glimpse of divinity in you all here or on a stranger on the street, then I find it very hypocrite to say, oh, in that statue that I got it made from India of Goddess Kali, God is in that statue or God is in a book. We always, when we point finger to the moon, we forget about the heat of the moon, the consciousness of the moon. We start to worship the finger. Oh, he's pointing to the moon. But it's to the moon, pointing to the moon. Moon is where the magic is happening, not in the finger. We get stuck in the, like, we love metaphors, but we do not go into the metamorphosis.
Ooh.
Yeah. We resist metamorphosis, but we're obsessed with the metaphors.
What is the biggest metamorphosis you have been through that turned into a metaphor, i.e. a poem in your content recently?
There's so many, honestly.
Give me the best one that's like you think this audience will really respect.
I feel, so, everyone knows I grew up in a family of Tantra teachers, right? So poetry, Tantra, writing, love poems, that was my daily life until like teenage years and everything, right? And then something very big happened. I lost two very special people. One was my sister. I was 16. She was 19. And then my best friend, I grew up with him. So these two very important pillars in my life. I lost him when I was 20-ish and my sister when I was 16. That was the biggest metamorphosis for me because suddenly I had to understand God and question everything that I think I knew. So the metaphors didn't make sense to me. And I felt very lost, confused. There's a story, Buddha saw a dead body and he said, what's the point of this? And that's when he left this kingdom and went to jungle. So that was my moment when I felt, what's the point of everything?
Did you go to the jungle?
I wanted to. I literally wanted to.
I would join.
I was in college in first, freshman year. I remember telling my guru, my father, that I want to go back to India. So we were in New York. I want to go back to India. There's a place in India called Leh, Leh. That's where one of the biggest monastery is. And I told him I want to live there. And I didn't say it impulsively. I was very clear. Even now, monasteries pull me a lot. I told him I want to go there, and it's not an impulsive decision or a thought. I've sat with it. I was like 20, 21. And I said, I want you to tell me, but not as a father, but as a teacher. I respect you. I trust you as a teacher. Do not guide me wrong. Don't let your emotions come in between. And he said, give me 2 days. I'll give you the right answer. After 2 days, he said, I see why you want to go there. A lot of things have happened that have betrayed your trust in the divine and in the daily life and everything. But he said, it's easy to go there, be disconnected from everything. Even this place, Leh, is very far away and disconnected from entire India. And he said, it's very easy to be there. I'm not saying it's lazy. It's easier than where you are. He said, what if you choose the other way? You sit with the shadow, you sit with the beast and don't be eaten by the beast. I think that would be very powerful for you as a 21-year-old boy. And I felt challenged by that being with the beast, but not being eaten by the beast. So I think an interesting metamorphosis started, and it's still happening. I feel very often I'm still with the beast, but making sure the beast doesn't eat me. Did I answer your question? Yeah.
How do you define the beast for someone who's like, I think I understood the metaphor, but maybe help me?
Beast is the temptation of escaping.
Got it.
The temptation of saying I'm detached, but deep down I'm afraid to get hurt. You know, the beast is your fear, greed of having more, anxiety that, oh, I think I'm going to hurt myself again. So there are a lot of and we all have our unique beast.
Yeah, I was wondering if each of us have that beast, and depending on what the situation is, maybe the beast would be different.
Yeah, I do notice people are afraid of being hurt. Yeah. And they make a lot of choices. So they don't get hurt or they don't hurt someone, but there's no communication happening. They just assume that if I indulge in this, I'll hurt someone or I'll hurt myself. So they just assume, and mind will always glorify things. In reality, it's not actually that complicated, but the mind will glorify. Like I imagined our conversation in a very different way, but when we started, I could feel the texture. I'm like, oh wow, it's moving, it's moving so differently, but in a beautiful way.
Yep.
But the mind will always create a certain background music.
So true.
Yeah. Because, this is where the mind comes in. I've seen your previous conversations. So, of course, I imagined myself sitting on the other chair. But those conversations were so different.
Yeah, they were different energies. So what I tend to find with me in the debate is that I feel the energy of the person that I'm getting.
Yeah.
And I do my best just to simply bring forward whatever wants to come forward.
I see that.
It's
It's fascinating.
Literally whatever wants to come in, because I could go, oh, well, I believe that God's this, and I believe that we have interference that comes into these lives. But it also feels like, sometimes it feels like it's fragmenting the field by trying to bring in my stances. And when I feel like it fragments the flow of the energy, then it feels like it's unsupportive, especially for any of the people who are listening. When we're in the flow and there's still nuance and character and pulse that's alive, I still feel like it's a beautiful nuance. And what's nice is someone can listen and go, I don't resonate, or I do. And
of
I
course.
think that still holds true. What did you expect? What did you feel?
I have seen the energy I feel is very fluid right now. It's the Shakti in motion, the wild feminine in motion. It's moving. But the ones I've seen before, those you were also moving, but in a different direction.
Yep. It's so true, because the episode I just did, when we finished, I said to my husband, God, I felt so airy. I felt airy, like it was hard for me to center myself. But she has very strong Gemini energy in her astrology, and she's very articulate, but more so from the mental concepts birthed into physical form, whereas with you, you're so centered. So I'm really I feel mirroring, should you say.
Yeah.
No guru, mirroring what I feel I'm getting from you energetically.
Yeah. No, I feel that too. I noticed in the first 5-10 minutes that, because, this is our first time meeting.
Yep.
So the mind knew a certain version of Victoria, but reality is seeing a different version. But I think this is where a lot of people start to sort of dilute the essence of their relationships, because the mind has created a certain picture, and you have to understand that's the picture of mind.
So true.
In reality, it's going to be so different, especially coming from a poet, a writer. When I write, I know it's coming from a certain awareness, but when you embody that, it's going to be so different.
It's so true. Actually, the woman I just interviewed,
Yeah.
Britt Lynn, she said that she was very intimidated by my energy, by a lot of what she felt online, because I have a very sharp persona. And it's because I do a lot of psychic development teaching and a lot of trainings, and the information I teach is quite dense. The material, I'm teaching about entities, I'm teaching about nefariousness, about interference. I try to bring lightheartedness to it, but I have a very direct tone.
Yeah.
So then when I'm with someone like yourself who has a very central energy, it's like all of my energy just gets sunken into me, and it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I love all the parts of me, but I totally read what I feel. Also, to the earlier point, when you were talking about people don't want to feel pain, I kind of laughed inside because I thought, oh, I would love to feel pain. It would create beautiful work.
Yeah.
There's something about the artist who like really enjoys excavating raw experience.
Absolutely. I'm never afraid of, I think at a very young age, I experienced this unexpected pain. And maybe that trained me to not run away from pain. But even on a day to day basis, I think the crazy part is my nervous system does expect pain to be the default.
Yeah.
So then I have to retrain my nervous system. No, it's not going to be painful. It could be fun. It could be healing, beautiful. But the challenge with people like us is we understand the healing that comes from pain also. So we do not shut down the pain, which is beautiful. But I think one of the things I'm learning is to also bring back the playfulness in me. You know, like I told you, as a child, I would be jumping on trees with the monkeys, like, literally with the monkeys. And I've always, like my father always says, he never calls them monkeys. He says they're CB's friends. So in my family, no one says it's monkeys. They say it's CB's friends. So I was a very monkey boy in a way, you know, like jumping around with monkeys, enjoying them, giving them breads, bananas every day. And seeing snakes and being fascinated by a snake moving. And somehow the snakes never hurt me. And I, of course, also never bothered them, but we would coexist. I loved that part of me. And it's challenging to bring back that part living in Hollywood. So I miss Himalayas, the mountains. And I think one of these days I'm going to give myself permission to just unleash, you know. I feel it happening because I'm talking about it a lot more lately. Yeah.
Well, I think this has been a really beautiful conversation.
Yeah.
It wasn't really
Same.
what I expected. I guess I didn't know what to expect. I just knew that I really, really loved your energy.
Thank you. Yeah. I didn't know what would unfold. And that's the beauty of, I think, a genuine conversation where expectations are not forcing, you know, for this conversation to move in a certain direction. Because it happens on a podcast many times. The person has already created a vision. This is how it will be. So, like I was telling you in a voice note, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what I say.
Yep. Because you're going on to the next point.
Yeah,
You said that?
exactly. And I understand within 10, 15 minutes, it's just going to be a Q&A, you know, question and answer. It does not matter. If I talk about snakes, you'll be like, so what about cosmic download that you teach? So it's going to be all over the place. So I have reduced the podcast conversations for the same reason, because it's so depleting, you know, to just talk about things that are not moving you,
Yes.
you know. So this was great, I think.
So did this move you?
It did. Even before we started, I could feel that, okay, this is going to be powerful for me. Like for me, it's going to be powerful. So I was hoping it would be equally meaningful to you.
It was so meaningful to me. So meaningful that I spent 10 minutes before Chandresh and I started trying to get Chandresh's name accurate.
Yeah, you're the first person, I think, who tried like intentionally to say the name right.
Yeah, because 5 times you were like, no, you can just do CB, just do Chandresh. And I
I'm
said,
so used to
"No."
of it. So I was, you know, it's genuinely not, I respect so much what you did, but I've also trained myself to not attach too much of a meaning, because even in India, people do, you know, like mess up the name at times. Yeah, I think it's just a difficult name, I guess, for some people.
Well, not for the person who cares about what your name is, you know?
Yeah.
For me, a little backstory about me is all of my team members are international. So it's something I really value. International entrepreneurs who've either come to Canada or international entrepreneurs that I'm supporting from around the world.
Wow.
It's very important to me, serving people with big dreams.
Yeah.
Because I was a young Canadian who moved to the States when I was 14 years old to get an education as an actor. And while it wasn't wildly different, it's definitely a culture shock to even just move, you know, same language, but different way of existing in the world, particularly politically, and the way that people treated one another. And I was just a young girl with a big dream, and I had a lot to learn, and I can't imagine learning a whole new language, learning a whole new culture, learning a whole new way, feeling ostracized and isolated in the world. And I'm really empowered by that. It's something that really, really moves me. So the least I can do is say your name in the way that God created it.
I also feel you have seen a lot, like, so you have seen a lot of life at a younger age. So I think that has given you so much maturity, self-awareness to respect the life around you. You don't take things for granted.
Thank you. I've done a lot of work on that.
Yeah, I see that.
I appreciate you so much.
Yeah.
And we kind of got into spiritual hijack just briefly, like talking a little bit about some of the ways that desire can be infiltrated or how that can lead us to karmically. I feel like we hit that topic pretty well. Is there anything that you feel called to share as we wrap up here?
You know, I think we did, the conversation that we had, I feel if we don't have it the way we did, it would become just a lecture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do feel we did cover a lot of interesting parts. Those who will pay attention, they'll take a lot out of it.
I agree.
Yeah. I did. There were some points I really wanted to mention, and I didn't mention. Of course, it's the nature of, in 60 minutes, you can only go so much right into it. But I feel those who are familiar with this lingo, or even who are curious about the inner work, they'll take some good stuff out of it.
Well, you have to know my mom watches every single episode, and hopefully by now she's
Yeah.
picked things up. It's so beautiful.
I'll be very curious what your audience, your people, your mom will say about this.
I think she's going to really appreciate it, and
Yeah.
I appreciate you
Yeah, me
so
too,
much.
Victoria.
I thank you
Yeah.
for being here in Vancouver.
Thank
It's
you
one
for
of my
having
favorite
me.
cities in the whole wide world to share
Yeah.
your time with me today.
Of course. No, thank you for having me. It's my first day in Vancouver after so many years. I'm glad. This feels like a new chapter for me, so it's fun starting with you. What's the name of studio? My Little Big Dream, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What an intentional name also,
Isn't
right?
it beautiful? Yeah.
Wow.
Extraordinary man named Arya. This is his studio. He came from India to pioneer his dream.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Interesting.
So that's why he called it My Biggest Little Dream, because he's got big dreams to be
Yeah.
in film.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm sure you guys would probably get on
Yeah.
really well.
Well, it's amazing.
Well, thank you, Chandresh.
Thank you,
I
Victoria.
appreciate you so much. And now I guess we'll leave the question, as always, with our audience. What was the question? Desire. That's this episode in a nutshell. Desire, is it divine guidance or is it spiritual hijack? That was it. All right, my friends, we'll see you.